Update: am I the a-hole for not giving some of my wedding budget to my sister? Original post: my fiancé Sarah and I are planning our wedding. We got engaged 2 weeks ago, so everything still feels fresh and exciting. We're aiming for something truly memorable, with a rough budget of just over $100,000. Sarah has always dreamed of a beautiful, luxurious wedding, the kind you see in magazines. She's been clear from the start that she doesn't want to settle for anything that feels cheap or rushed. She wants the perfect venue, an incredible dress, stunning flowers, live music, everything to make it unforgettable. I want that for her too. I want us both to look back with no regrets. We're also planning a month-long honeymoon, traveling through Europe, France, Italy, Greece, Portugal. It's a dream we've talked about for years, and we're excited to make it real. We know all this won't be cheap, but the wedding isn't for another 2 years, giving me plenty of time to save. I'm committed to making it work. Recently, I shared our plans with my family, and it blew up. My mom called the whole thing wasteful and said I should be using that money to help my sister instead. For context, my sister's husband recently walked out, leaving her with 3 young kids and no financial support. She's struggling. I already help when I can, taking the kids out, giving her breaks, covering small expenses. But to my parents, it's not enough. They think I should go further, even divert my wedding and honeymoon savings to her. I feel torn. I love my sister and want her and her kids to be okay, but it doesn't feel fair to sacrifice one of the most important milestones of my life, something Sarah and I are building together, to meet an expectation that was never part of our plans. Sarah is so excited about the wedding. Telling her we have to give it all up would crush both of us. Now my family thinks I'm selfish, that I'm choosing extravagance over responsibility. But to me, it's not that simple. I can support my sister without giving up my future with Sarah. I want to start our marriage with joy, not resentment or regret. Part of me wonders if I really am being selfish, but a bigger part of me knows I need to put my fiancé's wishes first. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. You can spend your money however you want. You owe your sister nothing. Here's my concern on what you said. Your fiancé wants the best of everything and won't settle for less. You're making her sound like a gold digger. Do you understand how insane it is to spend $100,000 on a wedding? It is a complete waste. Your family isn't wrong about that part. My advice: make sure this girl loves you for you, not your money. She is just excited, that's all. She has had this whole thing planned in her head for years, and I'm happy to do it for her. I know she'd elope tomorrow if I ask her to, but that doesn't mean she won't be upset. I dare you to suggest concentrating on severely cutting back on that $100K and rather pay that towards a house or other big investment and see how willing she'd be to fall for something less insane than wasting all that money to impress others. I already have a house and my own business. I'm saving to buy more properties, but I'm not in a hurry. I haven't even touched that saving. I'll just have to save less for that while I'm saving more for our wedding. My fiancé and I make $400,000 a year together, and my family know how much money I have. It's no secret. No one would believe me if I said I'm going to have a $10K wedding. I don't see why you are daring me. She is very supportive. We live together, and she is basically covering all of the living costs while I save for our wedding and future. If anything, she should be worried that she's the one spending money while I'm saving everything. Of course, I'll cover the living expenses after we are done saving for the wedding, and I'll put half of everything to her name. But I honestly think she needs to be the one who is worried, not me. We trust each other. It's not that hard. Whilst I think that spending $100,000 on a wedding is insane, this is your money. You spend it how you wish to. Your parents should direct their anger at the man who walked out on his 3 kids and won't pay child support. Why aren't they taking him to court? Not the a-hole. They are trying. Now for the update. So my parents have decided they won't be attending my wedding. They think it's wasteful and they won't support it. My fiancé went no contact with her own family years ago. So if none of our parents are going to attend, then what is the point of throwing a wedding? She is very upset. I told her that it's okay. If no one wants to support us, then we will elope. We are going to use our wedding budget for our honeymoon as well. This seemed to cheer her up, and she has been busy replanning our honeymoon. I told my parents that the wedding is canceled, and they told me I made the right decision and asked if I can help my sister now. I said no. They ruined my wedding plans, so from now on they can't expect anything from me. I will prioritize myself because apparently no one else will. This should be taught to everybody before the age of 10. From the last post, OP said the honeymoon was a month-long trip in Europe. He should just get married while on the honeymoon. Personally, having a courthouse or city hall wedding and then jetting away seems easier. Trying to get the paperwork organized with a potential language barrier and different laws seems a hassle. There's also sometimes medical tests or weights built into wedding applications. So I am team home front. I do wish OP and his fiancée only the best for the marriage. I'm sorry your folks suck, but I doubt they're the only ones who would want to celebrate you too. You might consider throwing a righteous party, if you want to, complete with a photo montage of your travels for your friends when you return. Best wishes! We will probably throw some party with our friends only, but it won't be a wedding, and family won't be invited. Next story. Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I'm used to it after my parents ruined the surprise of my engagement and wedding dress? Original post. I, 27 female, am getting married in September 2025. I'm in a long-distance relationship. My partner lives in England and I'm in the US. We're lucky enough that I work remote and visit about 3 times a year for 6 weeks at a time, and he visits me in the US about 4 times a year for once a week. When he was planning to propose, he had asked my parents' blessing in March 2024. My parents had assumed that I would know when he was proposing, and my dad had told me in a conversation that following week he was proposing in December 2024. As you could imagine, I was upset. My mother invalidated my feelings and said I was making it a big deal and being stupid for not assuming it was going to be during Christmas because that's when both of our families were together. My argument is that, while I could have had a hunch, I didn't want to be told when it was, and basically could have gone practically a whole year wondering excitedly when it would be. For all I know, he could have proposed before that, and Christmas we would have had an engagement party. Anyway, basically my dad apologized, but my mom has stood firm on saying I'm dramatic for being upset. Since then, more things have gone wrong, and has started to leave me just so sad about wedding planning. None of this has been a good experience, and I've started to feel like it's a chore. Flash forward to today, my partner is visiting, just for 1 week, and we're all sitting on the couch in the living room. My mom randomly turns to me and goes, "Have you picked up your veil from the bridal store yet?" Right in front of him. And then my partner smiles and goes, "Oh, you're wearing a veil?" And I just got super frustrated. There are only 2 surprises in a wedding, the engagement and the dress, and both of them have been handled so carelessly. So I turned to my mom and said, "Can you please not mention anything about the dress? Not the shoes. Nothing. I don't want him knowing anything." She rolls her eyes, walks around, and about 10 minutes later, gives a half-hearted apology, just saying, "Sorry, OP." And I replied, "It's fine. I'm used to it at this point." And now she's gone back and locked herself in the room. So I guess, am I the a-hole for being upset? Edit. I know a lot of people are asking if this is like her. It isn't. She has already had one of her 4 daughters get married. I'm the second. She never ruined the engagement or the dress, and she seemed to care a whole lot more about her than she has me during this time. Nowadays, a lot of brides opt to wear veils, tiaras, sometimes hats, or embellishments, or nothing at all. I forgot to mention that my fiancé had told me he didn't want to know if I was wearing a veil or anything and wanted it all to be a surprise. Since he's very mild-tempered and sweet, he was surprised, but was trying to be nice in his reaction because he knew I'd be upset. Now for the top comments before reading the update. I'm used to it at this point. Brilliant, well-deserved answer. Now she's sulking in her room? Leave her there. Yep, let her stay in there as long as she wants to. Don't give her the attention she's looking for. Your mother sounds toxic. Stop telling her things. Don't give her the attention she's looking for. The last time my mom pulled an "I must be a horrible mother," I replied in front of my siblings, "Yes, try to do better in the future." She hasn't pulled it out in over 5 years. My mom is not a terrible person, but she was raised Catholic, and the guilt tripping is second nature. When I was planning my wedding to my now ex-husband, my now ex-mother-in-law went dress shopping with me. I ended up choosing a blush pink bridal gown with embroidered roses. It felt so special and unique, and I reminded everyone at the appointment not to mention that I chose a color instead of a white gown. At the dinner table that evening, in front of my fiancé, she asked, "Are you going to get pink flowers to match the pink dress?" I swear you could hear a pin drop. I went to another room and sobbed. I know she didn't say it with malicious intent to spoil the surprise. It was obvious she was excited and sort of forgot herself. But losing the surprise element of the dress reveal was devastating at the time. All that to say, no OP. I don't think you're the a-hole. It sounds like your parents really don't care about your feelings. Best to keep all wedding planning to yourself and your fiancé and only involve your parents when needed. I'm sorry that happened to you. Now for the update. So for context, a lot of things have gone wrong since we have been in talks of getting engaged. Obviously, my dad had told me about the engagement, but then other things went wrong, like my partner's sister causing drama the day before our engagement. The day of our engagement going horribly wrong to the point my partner told me he'd propose again. Finding out last month that my partner's dad got remarried a year ago in secret, we didn't even know he was dating anyone, and him asking for a +1 for the wife no one had even heard of, while also telling my partner he's ridiculous for being upset because it isn't a big deal, and my best friend bailing on my bachelorette for someone else's. So it's safe to say that since December, it's been stressful. And those are only the bigger issues I mentioned. I know everyone was saying my mom should be on an info diet. She already was by her own choice. She hasn't asked or been part of anything by her own design, and it's felt like she couldn't care less about the wedding. The only time she cared was when she found out we were only inviting 40 people, and people she wanted there weren't invited, like her friends, who I barely see or know, and her brother and cousin, who I both haven't seen since I was 11. That's when she insisted on paying for them so they could come. And that's the only time she's asked about anything having to do with the wedding, or to be honest, anything involving me. She hasn't checked in to see if me and my partner are okay, given all of the other stuff that has happened either. So, I ended up speaking with my mom a little while after what happened, and I told her that, while I know I shouldn't have said I'm used to it, that ultimately I'm upset because it seems nothing has gone right. She seemed apologetic at first and said she didn't know why she said that and knew that she shouldn't have. I nodded and said just please don't say anything else regarding what you know about the dress. She was there when I got the dress and veil with my sisters. I then told her that I'm just tired of things going wrong and that my partner and I have felt super unsupported and alone. She responded back starting her sentence with, "OP, only a handful of things have happened. I feel like you're looking for things to be upset about at this point." And to be honest, when she said that, I kind of lost it. I basically said that I didn't go looking for any of this, and all of these things that have happened to my fiancé and I were out of our control. Like, you're the one who brought up the veil, not me. I didn't go looking for any of these issues. I told her that if there was one problem, then fine, I'd have handled it and moved on, but that the repeated offenses coming from every angle have hurt me and my partner. I've been trying to get over what's occurred, but something else happens to make the wedding planning even harder on us. I told her that my fiancé and I both have felt super alone during a time that's supposed to be joyful, and that her carelessness and thoughtlessness has been super hurtful, especially when she's continually invalidated my feelings. She shrugged and said that she's done nothing and she's not going to talk to me or ask about me about the other problems going on because I've been upset and she doesn't want to deal with it. After a lot of your comments, I realized that I definitely was attempting to include someone who has shown not only should they not be, but they don't want to be. My partner leaves back to the UK today, but at this point, I'm considering eloping with him, if I can, when I'm visiting him in England in May. We've already paid half of what we owe to our venue and photographer, so canceling isn't really an option, but maybe we'll have just the reception instead of the ceremony. Thank you to the commenters who pointed out that if we ever have children, to keep the important moments to ourselves of gender or birth date or names. I think you're right, and my mom has pretty much ensured she will be on a permanent info diet for as long as she's in my life, because if not, she'll more than likely spoil it and then invalidate my feelings. I think ultimately, it wasn't about the veil for me. I know my partner will still be surprised. I'm just sad because he told me he didn't want an idea of anything and wanted to be completely clueless about what I would be wearing. But ultimately, this was about the continued thoughtlessness and invalidation that's pretty much been the theme for the last 4 months. If my mom had said she was sorry and left it, it would have been fine. But acting like I went looking to be upset when she randomly ruins yet another detail is just wild to me. Info. Why is your father-in-law marrying someone an issue for your wedding? Why is this roped into things that have gone wrong for the engagement? My fiancé's parents have been divorced for a very long time, but also have not spoken since. They're both unpredictable people and very selfish. We were already worried about them both being at the wedding at the same time because they have actual hatred for each other. When my partner met up with him for a catch-up lunch, his dad asked for a +1 for a wife we never had even heard of. If your dad got remarried a year ago and never told you, and only did because you were getting married now, I think you'd be upset, right? Yes, get married in England as soon as you wish. Have the reception at the end of the year and tell your mother on the day of your reception that you're already married, because she is going to try and ruin your day because she's a complete and utter narcissist. This, and the longer they've been married for, the more worthless it'll make the reception attendance to her narcissist mother and her then-husband's weirdo father and his +1. There's no need to pander to the crazies. Edit. I also forgot to say yes, I am moving to England. We are hoping to make that jump at the beginning of 2026. I know a lot of people are saying completely cancel the venue, but we already have friends and family from my fiancé's side who have bought their flight tickets to come. At least 10 have already confirmed. I don't think I have the heart in me to cost people that kind of money when they've already invested into this. I'm not sure if my mom cares that I'm moving. I am in England for 6 to 8 weeks at a time every few months, so she's already used to me leaving for a significant amount of time. She doesn't seem sad I'm leaving, and if anything, has said she understands why I'm moving. If she is sad, or that's the real reason behind all of this, I'd actually be super surprised. I won't rule it out, but my mom isn't the type to care about that sort of thing.